Hi friends and welcome back. Brooke here with another spread for the Ugly Art Club's 5-minute challenge. So the prompt for today is day number 12 and the prompt is odd number, which I thought was just hilarious because obviously it's an even number. So usually I don't speed up these 5-minute videos, but if you've been here before, you know that I don't have the best time management skills and I think I can get a lot more done in those 5 minutes than possible. So this is the perfect example of that. I had this idea in my mind and instead of fighting against it, I just decided to go with it, even though I knew it was going to be over that 5 minutes. So I decided just to speed this one up so it doesn't take quite so long. So I've been spreading out posting these full tutorials for the 5-minute challenge just so that they're not all clumped right in a row for 2 weeks straight, and we can kind of spread them out throughout the month. So thanks for being patient and following along, and I know that you're going to love how this journal ends up turning out. So you'll definitely want to stay tuned for that. Also, I try to post the supplies that I use down in the description below, so definitely check that out if you're curious about what I'm using. And I'm excited about this one. So I started out with just some collage in the background. I wanted to get some sort of base going on. I knew I didn't want to do any wet material like an acrylic ink, something like that, because the idea I had with these little wooden numbers was already going to take a little bit of time. So I wanted to get collage down on the page as fast as possible and then just continue on with what my idea was. So these little numbers are from the dollar store, and I've used them in a couple different ways in the past. I've painted them. I've kind of used them as a stencil or a mask would be the more appropriate word. And now I have some recycled textiles here. At least all those greens are recycled textiles. I had gone through my closet and gotten rid of a bunch of things, and anything that I liked the color of or the texture, different things like that, I saved and repurposed for art material. So that's one of the ways that I find some of my fabrics. The other ways are a lot of times quilting cottons, things like that. This black and white stripe that I'm using is a quilting fabric. So I'm using my little glue gun, which I love this little glue gun. It's wireless, cordless, and I wouldn't say it gets super hot. So like if you're doing big projects, you like home decor projects, it's probably not going to be powerful enough. But for what I use it for just in my art practice, it's really kind of nice. It heats up quickly. I don't have to worry about the cord. The silicone tip on it makes it so that the gunk of the glue doesn't get everywhere like a traditional glue gun. So I am a fan of it and glad that I got it. I can't say I use it every time I sit down for art, but it is nice to have. So you can see I've already passed that 5-minute mark. So I did speed this video up because it was a lot of just like finagling getting these materials on. And I just wanted to kind of cover these numbers up and add a bit of intrigue to them instead of just regular plain out of the box just like they were. And I had recently done these recycled material, so it was just a fun way to use some of the stuff that was sitting around in my studio. So there was a couple things that I considered when I decided this was the method that I wanted to try out. These fabrics are stretchy, so they're made out of a jersey knit. I thought they would wrap around the letters quite nice. And the second thing is I knew I wanted to cut them in thin strips because then they were more pliable to go around the odd shape, like especially this 2 here. It made it so that I wasn't stretching and pulling the fabric too much. There was already that stretch going on, and that made it really nice and easy. So I'm just continuing on here. Those green fabrics are all, yes, they're all different shades, but they're all solid. And so bringing in the stripe just adds a little bit more intrigue and interest onto it. I'm using the a kebab stick here just to get that over the side. Of course, you can use your finger too, just so that I wasn't getting gunk everywhere. I decided just to use that kebab. I think it'd be fun, like I said, there's a bunch of solids there going on. So I thought it would be fun to add just a little bit of more interest going on. Originally, I had thought some of this baking twine would be fun, or baker's twine, but I decided just to go more simple. I had some white thread and I'm just gonna wrap it around. Instead of trying to like thread it through, I'm just using that glue gun just because it's already out and gluing that into place. I kind of spread the glue over the back of it a little bit just to make sure it's all staying. Of course, this is going to go into a journal at the end, and so it's going to be closed. I'm not too worried about like securing things super securely. I think it's going to end up working pretty well. So this did add some bulk here with these numbers, but the fun thing about doing this style is I'm working on all these pages individually, and then I'm going to be putting them together in a journal. And at this point, I have put the journal together. I've completed all the days, so I'm just posting these videos later. And I have to say, I love how the journal turns out. And I'm going to take you through the whole process of how I put that together too. So I know you'll want to stay tuned for that. I'm adding on that prompt tab tag there, adding in a little bit of white gesso, just integrating it in with its surroundings a little bit more. I also put some white gesso up above where I'm going to put those numbers. It's going to help it stick out from the background a little bit more. Those numbers ended up being a little bit darker maybe than I originally thought. So on the black background, they didn't stick out quite as much as I wanted them to. So adding in that white gesso just allowed for a bit of a highlight going on behind it. I also added in some black pinstripe art marks. Again, just another little point of intrigue. So since my glue gun is already out, that's just how I'm going to attach them to the page as well. Give it a little press and hold. And as I said before, the glue does not heat up quite as much as maybe like the traditional glue guns, especially like a heavy duty one. So it actually dries on there pretty quickly. It's nice for my needs. I'm just playing around with that placement. Instead of doing just straight up and down, I decided to do a little bit wonky since it is an odd number prompt. I thought odd, quirky, that type of thing. So I'm just trying to go in with that feeling of the prompt overall. Cleaning up some of those edges of the glue with that kebab stick. And I think that pretty well does it for this spread, adding in just a final few little pencil marks. And now I'm going to work on the complementary spread that I've been doing with this challenge. So this is something above and beyond that 5-minute challenge that I talked about. And this is just, it's going to make it in the journal itself where I have those 2 pages next to each other versus say prompt 12 sitting next to prompt 13. I like to do a full colorway, different things for my journal pages when I work in a traditional journal. For some reason, I just can't get myself to do all different colors all at once. And so this was just a way for me to focus on a smaller sheet of paper for the 5 minutes itself, and then add on a little something special for that additional page. So I still had a bunch of small little scraps laying around from the pieces that I initially cut for those numbers. And so I'm just kind of laying them out here on this page. I thought I would stick with the fabric, bringing more of that in instead of going the paint route or something like that, especially since I just did collage basically on the background of the main spread. And getting these in a place that I like, I'm going to do just a touch of glue just to hold them down a little bit. I don't want to do too much because I'm actually going to take this to the sewing machine and sew it on. As you can see here, I did not think that all through. I wanted some scribbles in the background just to add a little bit more interest and intrigue, plus the messiness of those scribbles makes it correlate better, I think, with the original spread. And just getting these down in a place that I'm somewhat happy with. And by adding just a little touch of glue, it makes it so that I can kind of keep replacing those until I'm happy. And then I just took that over to my sewing machine and did some straight lines across, making sure to catch those fabric strips as I went. I went back and forth a couple times just to give it that kind of messy look. And last up, I'm taking some white gesso and kind of just doing some like ghost type fingerprints with my finger and adding just a little bit more of that messiness onto this page so that it coordinates with the main page. So if you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed so that you can follow along, and I still have a couple days left in this 5-minute challenge. All right, y'all, see you next time. Have a good one.